Oh boy, that was a much needed win for LAFC over the Columbus Crew. What did you make of it?
Yeah, LAFC exercised some demons against the Columbus Crew last time with a convincing 3-0 win. And this game script played out the way both teams wanted it to be played and the way their losses have come against Columbus. They ceded possession in exchange for space to run into. And that's what they did. Denny Bouanga was phenomenal on the night with 2 goals. He took the ball off Steven Moreira, an uncharacteristic mistake for the reigning MLS Defender of the Year, and scored the first goal. That got them running downhill. And then in the second half, another individual effort by Bouanga made it 2-0. And the backbreaker was a goal off a set piece. Nathan Ordaz scored for LAFC to make it 3-0. LAFC dominate on set pieces. This is nothing new for them. But at 2-0, you felt all right for the Columbus Crew going back for leg 2. And look, I'm not going to rule it out. Wilfred Nance is the author of Impossible is an Opinion. So we'll see what happens in leg 2. But LAFC got a huge win against this Columbus team that beat them in a couple finals over the last couple years.
Bogert, I would say home field advantage, but not even 8,000 people showed up yesterday at BMO Stadium, reportedly. What is that saying about CONCACAF Champions Cup for MLS teams? I don't want to make a generalization, but I was surprised that not too many people showed up yesterday for the game.
Yeah, it is disappointing. If you just look at their last handful of home games on footballing merit, this was the best one to look forward to. Maybe it's a little bit of fatigue. That was their 4th home game in 2 weeks. Maybe it's CONCACAF Champions Cup is, hey, we want to see the Mexican teams. We want to see the Central American teams. And, hey, how many times have we seen LAFC versus Columbus? I'd push back on that because that's one of the most fun matchups in MLS. But maybe it's MLS versus MLS fatigue, and maybe it's a Tuesday night and these tickets went on sale a week ago or whatever, right? These are just all the different, I guess, excuses or explainers as to the attendance. But, Nico, I'm with you. It's disappointing because this is a marquee matchup in this league. This is the round of 16 in the Continental Championship. And this is a tournament that has gotten bigger and bigger. And teams in Mexico and MLS have taken it much, much more seriously. Cut to like 6 years ago, this was almost like an extra preseason. LAFC wouldn't be starting their best players. Columbus wouldn't be starting their best players. They would just be using it as squad rotation. So this is the premier competition, the continental competition in this region, and it's disappointing to not see more fans. I mean, again, I think going later in this tournament, we're going to see better attendance, but on the footballing merit, Columbus LAFC is an excellent game to go to.
Now, Tommy, I want to talk about my former club, FC Cincinnati. In the post-Lucho Acosta era, they get Evander, but they're not getting goals, really. They get smashed by Philadelphia Union, and they drop the ball a bit against Tigres. So what needs to kick on for FC Cincy in leg 2 against a Tigres side that away from home, or at least at home at their place, they're difficult to play against?
Of course, it was a missed opportunity for Cincinnati last night. I thought they were the better team. But Tigres were very professional. Tigres were very mature to get their point. The goal kind of came out of nothing, and that was early. It was 1-1 in the first half. And I think Tigres were more than happy to take a 1-1. Again, away goals in this competition remains the tiebreaker. So Cincinnati, not only do they need a result in Mexico, they need to at least score a goal. A 0-0 draw sees them eliminated. So it's an uphill battle, and it's disappointing that they didn't take all 3 points here or give themselves a lead going into Mexico. I still think that this team is good enough to go to Mexico and get a result. That is a very, very difficult task, but that's how highly I think of the Cincy team. I'll kind of throw it to Pat Noonan earlier in preseason when they were dealing with the Lucho drama, when they were trying to have him leave to get Evander in. And Luca Oriano was holding out for a new contract and then picked up a little knock. Pat Noonan, in one of his press conferences probably 3 weeks ago, was like, yeah, I'm disappointed. We're not as far as we should be in preseason right now. And I think he was just getting frustrated at 3 players didn't show up for preseason, Lucho Acosta, Yuya Kubo, and Luca Oriano. And then they didn't get Evander until a couple days before their first competitive game. So it's been difficult for them to completely ramp up. They're still missing Matt Miazga. He won't be back for this next leg. So that is kind of immaterial in this series. But every couple days in training, another game on the weekend, like that should help this team. I'm not sure if it'll come in enough time, but I am optimistic that Cincy can go down to Mexico and get a result.
Another team, Tom, looking to ramp up is the LA Galaxy, the defending champs in Major League Soccer. Not off to a great start. How can they use Champions Cup to get things right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more game time, right? Like, a lot of these attackers need more time to fit in with each other. Marco Reus, I guess, needs more game reps, or I don't know if he was dealing with any fitness or form issues. This is a team that I'm not going to be worried about them in the long term. In the short term, they have their issues, but it's easily explained. Ricky Pooch is out until at least late summer. Joseph Paintsil is out for another 4 to 6 weeks, roughly was the timeline given before preseason. So those are two DPs. Those are two incredible players. They still have Gabriel Peck. They still have Christian Ramirez, who joined the team in preseason following a trade. They still have Marco Royce. It's more about having those players combine and get a better feel for each other. I thought it was going to happen a little bit quicker because Christian Ramirez is an intelligent player. Gabriel Peck is an intelligent player, plus an individual player. Like when things break down, hey man, one-on-one, get him the ball or get him the ball in space. Diego Fagundes is an overqualified air quote backup because he doesn't make this team's best 11. Again, I still think that they're going to be fine. It is a little bit worrying to start the season, but it's a long haul here. And hey, a couple goals in CONCACAF Champions Cup could get them right.
Tom, great stuff. Be honest with us. Were you a little worried we were going to show your college photo on here today? That was
No, I know it's coming. I know it's coming, so I've just accepted it. I know people will bring it up on Twitter. I know our wonderful producers found it a couple weeks ago when I was in studio. And it's like a ticking time bomb that I'm just waiting to see. So maybe when I'm in studio on Friday, that's when it'll come.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to make you sweat a little bit before you get off to the rest of your day. Good stuff, Tom.